Also, nothing wrong with the voice of your Carolina Hurricanes, Mike Maniscalco, who I also have on good authority, although I cannot personally vouch, is a great hugger. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. We have discussed that before, but you and I, other than maybe a bro hug back in the day, we have not actually gone full embrace. How are you?
I'm good, and in the words of Val Kilmer, as Doc Holliday, that's the rumor. So I just go with it. I don't do anything special. I just, I'm. You've seen me. I'm built like those huge teddy bears that you win at the fair if you can win. So I guess that's what works.
Well, I think that's why Victoria brought it up. Real quick, because you mentioned Val Kilmer, and I don't know why I thought of you, and I did. What did he pass away about a month ago, right? I think he passed away about a month ago.
About a month ago, yeah.
And I thought of, as I was thinking of my favorite Val Kilmer roles, and I know a lot of people go to Top Gun. I don't. I go to Doc Holliday, and as I was making this list, I was thinking you were making this list too, because you have seen more movies than any 10 people I know.
Up till about 2010, I probably could have quoted you any quote from any movie. That was one of the lines at a place that I worked. Can quote you any 2 lines from any movie or your next rental is free. It's Doc Holliday by far and away. I mean, Iceman's a fine character and all, but I mean, hardly the screen time. And I mean, I can really run down the Val Kilmer catalog if you want me to, but in real genius is Chris Knight. I mean, that would probably be number 2 for me on the list. There's many to go to.
See, this is why I thought about you. As I was doing it, this is why I thought about you.
I would have helped. I would have contributed to this list.
Well, I was just doing it. I was sitting at my kitchen table. That's all I was doing. All right, let's talk about what are you doing on your very brief spring vacation?
Well, I kind of had an inkling that it was going to be the Washington Capitals. So watched the rest of that series wrap up last night. And, now it's you shift over. There's no more FanDuel Sports Network regional coverage. Everything goes to the national. But Tripp and I will be calling everything right here on your home for Canes hockey and the Hurricanes Radio Network on 99.9 The Fan. So, the homework never stops. You go back. I've gone back and watched the last 2 games of the regular season, or I'm going to go back. I watched the first one this morning, the win up in D.C., which was a national TV game.
Right.
So, there's a couple of things that you go through, but, as long as they're still playing, went and covered the media availability today with a couple of players and Rod Brind'amour, and, you just get ready. And honestly, Adam, this is the best time of the year. It's you just want it to keep going, and you find ways to keep yourself busy.
So I know people – and Sebastian Aho said it after the game, and I guess he was interviewed by Hannah on the bench after being the first star. And he goes, we're not here to win, to make it to the second round. We're here to win it all. And that's the mindset every player has. And it doesn't matter what the odds say. It doesn't matter what the pundits say. The players don't care. They are here to win. But it is remarkable. They are the only team right now on a 5-game second round, at least, winning streak. And just like there's only 3 other teams that have made the playoffs for the last 7 years in a row, at least, it speaks to the character, because you can go away in a series. You can lose an opening round series. A lot of good teams have. Right? So it speaks to the character of this group, and they could have played for Game 6 down 3-0 because they could easily win it. They just won. They just won Game 4 at the Rock in Newark, so they knew they could go back there and win. But they weren't about getting on a plane. I think that's got to be one of the most impressive things about this group.
I've used the word resilient around this group, maybe this year's version of the Canes more than any of them under Rod Brind'amour, because they just don't stop coming after you, Adam. And I'll use another example. Go back to the game against Ottawa. The last game of the regular season, you don't have your regulars in. You got a bunch of young guys who were called up, and similar situation. They're down, and that's a game where you could easily, we're gonna wave the white flag. We're on to the postseason. Why does this even matter? We're not moving up in the standings. We're not moving down in the standings. And they came back against the Ottawa Senators, with how they played and what they were able to do. They just don't stop playing the game. And, of course, that's the reflection of their head coach. But there's one thing you mentioned, and you're 100% right. They have won 5 consecutive first-round series. The only thing that bothers me is that little bubble play-in. They're the only squad that has won a postseason series 7 years in a row, but we don't count the playoff bubble postseason asterisk hashtag withatever the NHL wants to call it as a playoff series win, but it's a postseason series win. So without your head exploding, and I'm always for the easiest thing. I like to say they've won a playoff series or a postseason round 7 years in a row instead of having to when somebody says, well, what happened there? And I just think it speaks to how this group plays. Because they really are. They're all gas, no brakes. They're not there for just, hey, we're happy to be here or the first round. They're there to be a team that moves on. And what you've said, we've seen number 1 seeds. We've seen teams that have, won the President's Trophy and have, put together monumental seasons, and they get beat in the first round. Yep. And this team, for my money, because I'm going to include the bubble, for 7 straight years has found a way to win their opening matchup of whatever you want to call postseason hockey.
Yeah, and in the bubble, they beat a team in the Rangers that owned them during the regular season, and they swept the Rangers out of the playoff. That gave us the second best goal in this 7-year span because Aho's goal, the steal, and then the move around our friend Tony DeAngelo was otherworldly. Jacob Slavin's goal has now replaced it because it was ridiculous twice, maybe 3 times. the steal itself, because I remember your play-by-play call, like, oh my gosh, what a great play, and then you had to go call the goal, which just made it ridiculous.
It's one of those things, Adam, where I'm spoiled. I get to watch him every night, and he will make one play that if anybody else did it, it's on the highlight reel for, oh, look at this defensive play what this guy made. And he just does it every night. And it's the hand-eye coordination of being able to bat a puck out of the air, control it, get him to get the puck either to himself or get it to safety or get it to a teammate. And then it just creates what should be a negative into a huge positive. I'm watching that play. It's literally where we were sitting in New Jersey unfolding right in front of me. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing this because, one, the knockdown was impressive. But then I go, he's passing it off the boards, and he looks, and he knows it's the middle of a change. Yeah. So he's knocking it off the boards to himself, and then he knows, all right, well, I got to complete the change. All right, I'm going to go shoot for a goal now. And, that space in between the shoulder, the crossbar, and the post, and Jacob Markstrom's head. And he wires it. He does something every game where, you should shake your head at it. But that's why, I'm not big on tons of phrases, but, at least once a game, I like to point out it's just Jacob Slavin doing Jacob Slavin things.
So he is amazing. I think he's the best defensive defenseman in the league. And I know there's more offense there. He just doesn't need to show it. He's got other things on his mind. Mike Maniscalco is joining us here. Real quick, the Taylor Hall signing, I think this has been rumored for about a month. They didn't want a goal-scoring binge. I wonder if the team waited for that goal-scoring binge to calm down so it wouldn't cost them $6 million a year. But this is a great value contract for somebody that clearly has been moved by the atmosphere, the way the team plays, and he wants some stability. It's a good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get a guy who, at 33, I think still has a lot left in the tank. Yeah. And, this isn't going to be one of these deals where we look at, years down the road and be like, oh, well, did they? It's only a 3-year deal. And I think it's great for the player because he knows the culture, the environment, the fact that this is a team, and as long as Rod brind'amour is behind the bench, the way they play, it really does suit his game, Adam. Getting to watch him every night, he really is a north-south player. He is directional. He can play heavy, but then he has this ability that sometimes the Canes, they've been looking for it in forwards, and I think they might have found it. He has the ability to drive a line and make plays, and if the play's not there, he's going to find a way to score goals. He has that ability. The reason why he was the number one overall pick all those years ago with the Edmonton Oilers was because he has that skill, and that's still there. But I think now he is just a much smarter player, and I think he also understands he could go chase money if he wants to, and he could have gone into free agency and gotten that. But I think he wants to be in a place. He, one, wants to be in a place for a while, and two, he wants to be in a place where he knows he can win. So that checked the boxes, and this is a win-win deal for an organization and for the player with Taylor Hall staying here for the next 3 years.
Mike Maniscalco is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, and the Hurricanes, this roster, we're going to see changes even though it appears almost set. There's only, if you think about it, 3, maybe 4 spots available in the starting lineup if we think they're going to go after a goalie, maybe another defenseman, maybe one more. They have 11 forwards signed for next year, and like Mark Jankowski, who came over like after the trade deadline was over, they snuck him in at the wire. He has been a very impactful player for them, and he's got a contract for next season as well. Real quick about Washington, and then we'll let Mike Maniscalco go. This is I'm not saying necessarily a different challenge than the Devils, because the Devils tried to be physical, but Washington is a big, mean team, and I thought they were better than their individual parts this year, but they've obviously continued to play well. But this is a big, mean team, and Tom Wilson is back to being big and mean.
Yeah, and I think this is a different challenge than the New Jersey Devils, Adam, because of what you've just said, that they are, and for the most part now, they're healthy. Alexei Protas, the 6'45", whatever he is, and 240 pounds, and he can move, and he really had a breakout season. But he doesn't do it on the power play.
Right.
So now you add that big body back onto the ice for the Caps, and he can play top line minutes for him, and he kills penalties. What they did this year is they needed to, because they were getting old. There was no way around it. They were an aging team with T.J. Oshie and Nick Backstrom and John Carlson, and everybody was like, what's going to happen here with this Caps team? Are they going to have to go to the bottom? Well, they had young guys who are waiting, biding their time. They find Protas, and he's turned into a monster for them. Connor McMichael this year gets a bigger role because Oshie can't play and Backstrom can't play. And then they went out and they took a chance on Pierre-Luc Dubois, who it's the 3 previous stops. It doesn't work out. Some of it's his own doing, but now he gets to Washington, and I think that they said, look, you're not the man on this team. We don't need you to be. We don't want you to be. We have the guy. He wears number 8. He's the man. Just go out here and play. But this is your role, and do it to the best of your ability. And Dubois had a great season. Then they get Jacob Chychrun from Ottawa, who, his knock was he can't stay healthy, but he's still young. Like, I'm thinking Chychrun's got to be like 31, 32. He's in his 20s still.
Yeah.
And they got younger, they got faster, they got bigger, and they're mean. And they're no fluke. They were a team at the start of the year, Adam. Everybody comes out of the gates, and there's one team that you're not really sure what they were going to be. They were the team for me in the Metro. I go, I don't know what they're going to be. Maybe they'll be good, but it's a lot of new parts they put in here. Spencer Carberry is a hell of a coach. And as the year kept going on, you go, well, we're going to see. Well, they got this stretch, and they kept passing all those tests. And then you get to the point of they're just a good team.
Yeah, they are.
That's what they are. They're a good team.
They are a good team. Dylan Strome had his best season, I think, in the NHL. Yeah. They're getting good goaltending, and that's really what it comes down to. So I'll let Mike Maniscalco go here. Go make sure Freddie Anderson is fine for the start of the second round. I don't know what we have to do.
He did skate today. He did take shots today.
Good.
At Lenovo. There's an update, and we'll see where he's at when they announce when the series starts. But that I can give you that update.
Thank you very much.
That happened today. You're welcome.
That deserves a hug. I'll see you I'll see you in person for games 3 and 4 because we will share office space at that point. I appreciate your time as always, sir, and I will talk to you soon.
You got it, Adam. Thanks.
You got it. Mike Maniscalco, the play-by-play voice, the imminently huggable
Mike
Maniscalco.